Hello, I think we're live. Can everyone hear me? All right, well, today a few days ago I had this idea, and this was kind of stemmed from Maximilian, because he had also done a video similar to this. So I had this idea, because I had been thinking about this for a while, of doing a side-by-side comparison of the NetNavis and Robot Masters and some of the other original designs of the Mega Man series compared to Battle Network, given that the Battle Network connection had just come out. And I figured since today was a good day for me, since I was free from work, I thought it would be a good day to stream. So I am going to have this little Word document in the bottom right, because I want to do a little tally to see which one I actually end up preferring. Because I've actually never really sat down and thought what I have consistently preferred over Battle Network and the original series. So I just thought this could be a fun little thing to do. And I've got some. Tell me if the music is too loud. That's another thing I've been trying to mess around with in my settings. I just have a little playlist going in another window right now. With that being said, let's get started. So first, for what I have is, because I'm not going to be going with villains first or bosses first. I'm going to try to go with main characters and then go in order of the mainline Mega Man series with their NetNavis. So there's a lot of NetNavis I'm not going to be including because they don't have a counterpart. Now, with that being said, I guess let's just get started. So with the first one, we obviously have to go with Mega Man. And with Mega Man, it's something where it really depends on your preference, I think. Because with the Battle Network Mega Man and Classic Mega Man, they both have their own pros in different ways. I think the Battle Network design is really sleek. I like the additional yellow that it adds, with the exception of, I guess in comparison to the classic Mega Man, I like that the Battle Network design adds more yellow, and the red also stands out a lot too. But at the same time, I admire the classic design more, so I guess if I could choose between both of them, what I would end up picking is the classic design. So with that, I give classic 1 point. And move on next with roll. Now, this was something that I had thought about when I saw Maximilian's video, because I've thought this for a long time. My biggest problem with the Battle Network roll is that, to me, it might as well be an original character in terms of design. And even roll, not roll, the role of roll. But I don't know. This is something where I don't think the Battle Network design is a bad design, but my biggest problem is, again, it just looks like it could be an original character and not that it's based on roll. The only real connection I can really make to roll is with the ponytail. And even then, it's such a small detail that, to me, it really doesn't add enough to it to make me want to compare it to roll. So that's another thing where I just prefer I like the Battle Network design, but I'd say in terms of the two, I just prefer the classic roll design. Next is Proto Man. And Proto Man is interesting because Proto Man in Battle Network is kind of a fusion of Proto Man and Zero, which I think is a cool idea, but there's something in me that's always really missed the shield with this Proto Man design. Like, I don't know, not like I don't need it to be like a giant shield, but to me, I think the Battle Network design would have been perfect if they had like a retractable, smaller shield on his other arm. I don't know, because I do really like both designs, but I'd say if I could pick, I just think the classic design, I don't know, there's just something about the classic design that just feels more perfect to me with how simple it is in comparison to the Battle Network design. Again, like with Roll, I don't think the Battle Network design is a bad design, but again, I just feel that this design doesn't, I don't know, I just feel like this design works much better to me, at least in terms of how I feel about both characters. Then it's base. This base is complicated. This is rough for me, because I really, really like both of these. And this is one to me where I feel like with Mega Man, it really depends on your preference. Because I really like both of these. I really like the kind of, I don't know, the cape and almost like the nomad kind of way that Base is designed here. Like this wanderer, loner, kind of reminds me of how they did Megatron at the beginning of Dark of the Moon. I don't know, there's just something about this like wanderer aesthetic to him that I really like. And again, I love the original Base design, but I'm gonna be honest, if I could pick between the two, I'm gonna lean to Battle Network. I think Base's Battle Network design is better. Right, Glide. Now, Glide is interesting in that I don't remember if he's from Legends or Misadventures of Tron Bonne. I think he's in both, but I want to say he came from the Tron Bonne game. And Glide is interesting to me in that both designs have similar aesthetics, but they both look very different at the same time. And this is one I really feel could go either way, because I don't really feel strongly about either of these designs. I like the attitude that the Legends design gives off, but at the same time, there's something about both of them that don't really stand out super strong to me. With that, I'm going to give that a tie. I'd say that's a tie. I feel like you could go either way, but again, I don't really feel strongly about the character, so I guess that's the other thing. Tweak the volume a little bit. There we go. And we have how they did Wily. Now, it's just because Wily, and I forget what Wily's role is in Battle Network. I think he's supposed to be, I think his name is Emperor Wily in Battle Network. And I'd say I do really like both, but they're both going for different aesthetics. One is going for more mad scientist. The other one kind of gives off like old ruler, crazy henchman kind of feel. And I don't know, it works. I think the Battle Network design works well. Like, again, I do like both, and I kind of like that the Wily from Battle Network looks very sickly almost. Like, his skin looks kind of weird, and his head's more weirdly shaped. Again, it's... I want to say I lean more towards the classic design, because, again, I just feel there's more charm to that design, even though it is much simpler than the Battle Network design. And I think we're going on to the NetNavis after this. Okay, yeah. Now we're going into the actual NetNavis and Robot Master comparisons themselves. Now, with the NetNavis and the Robot Masters, some are wildly different and some are really cut from the same cloth, but have enough differences that I really think they're able to stand on their own while still being able to be similar enough to the original design. Now, with Gutsman, this is one I really like both. I really, really like both. I don't know, I like that the old design has this more construction worker look to it. But of the two, I'd honestly say I really lean more towards the Battle Network design. Because I really think the Battle Network design has a really good like mix of actually looking like a robot while still fitting the aesthetic of the original Gutsman design. So with that, I'm going to give that lean to Battle Network. Now with Cutman, it's funny. I think the Battle Network design sticks true to the classic design, but at the same time, I think takes a few things away that hurt the design for me. Because when I look at the classic Cutman, I see what I saw in the Ruby Spears cartoon. I see this guy looks like a little shit, and I don't know, I just get a lot more charm out of the original design comparative to the Battle Network design, because there's something in me that feels like this is, again, it's too traditional, and yet it also simplifies too much. So with that, I'm going to go classic with that. Now, I really, really like what they did with Bomb Man. I like that it's kind of a fusion of Grenade Man and Bomb Man, and I think it really gives off much more of the vibe of a robot that uses bombs as opposed to the original design, which I do find charm in the original Bomb Man design, but there's a lot more to this design from Battle Network that really, really works. And I'd say I'm going to give the lean to Battle Network on that. And again, I do really like that it almost fuses Grenade Man and Bomb Man's aesthetic to make this good mixture of the two. Now, Iceman. It's another thing where it's very traditional like Cutman, but there's just like Cutman, there's just a few things that they did to it that I think takes away from the charm of the classic design. Because I don't think this is a bad design for Battle Network, but I don't know. There's something much more charming about the original Mega Man design to me. There's a lot more personality to the design to me. I think it's a lot cuter. I don't know. It's just a more fun design to me. But I'm going to go classic on that. Now, Fireman is one where I really like both. I really, really like both of these. And I could see the argument for either one. I think the one weird thing to me about Fireman is that the upper half of his body, I think, does a lot of really great changes, but there's something about just the really muscular legs that weirds me out. Like, it looks like they put, like, a robot torso on a human man's legs. Like, I don't know. That's, like, the one thing where I'm like, I really don't know. I really, really don't know. Again, can I really like both? I'd say I'm going to give it a tie. I'd say that's a tie for me. Again, I could see a preference for either design, really. Now, Elecman, the final Robot Master we have. This is one where I think Battle Network went a little too extra to me. I think there's just too much going on. It's the Tesla coils on the back. It's the way that his hands are done. So I don't know. There's something with me that I just feel like this is too overly designed compared to the original. Yeah, no, I'm going to give this to classic. This is the first one I'd say I don't really care for. It's not horrible, but again, I think the Battle Network design for Elecman just goes a little too extra. And I really feel like I don't know, I feel like it doesn't have as much personality compared to the original one. I feel almost like, I think Maximilian had said that it looks more like a Persona boss, which, yeah, I don't know. It really looks like it comes from a different game to me. On to Mega Man 2. Airman. This is something that is perfect to me. Airman's Battle Network design is one of my favorite NetNavis because it adds to the original design without making it overly designed or without taking things away. I think it perfectly improves upon an already fantastic design. Airman already has one of my favorite designs of the classic Mega Man. And the Battle Network design just, oh my god, it's so perfect to me. It's a fantastic design. Now, Woodman. I don't know what happened with this design. Because it's too silly. It's even for a Robot Master named Woodman, it's way too silly to me. It's like the big lips, the weird yellow eyes. I've never been able to fully figure out what he's supposed to look like. He's almost acorn shaped. I don't know. There's just, it's too silly. It's to me, it's almost so bad it's good with how much I like it, but it's just too silly. It's way too, even for Woodman, it's too silly. Again, this is so good to me. This is something, again, where I feel like it really improves upon the aesthetic of the original design. Heatman is a very, very simple design in the original Mega Man. It just looks like a guy in a box. I really like that they go a lot harder on the lighter aesthetic in Battle Network, and I like that they just make him deranged. I like that there's just really something unhinged about this design that just works so well. Just so well. It's just perfectly unhinged to me. It's like, I'm going to give that to Battle Network. This is another one like Airman where it's just perfect to me. Quickman. Quickman's Battle Network design takes everything that worked about the original design, tweaks it just a little bit, and again, it's so perfect. I love the addition of the arm blades. I like that they make it look kind of more like a superhero look. It's just, I don't know, it's just sleek. It's so sleek. It's a great design. And again, it's already a great design in the classic world, and it improves upon the entire design. Like, oh, it's just fantastic. Right, next. And this is another one I really don't like. Like, Bubble Man to me is something I really feel like you could have gone hard on the scuba diving aesthetic, or you could have made him a bit more like a marine animal kind of thing. I don't know. Again, this really takes away to me. This really, really takes away. It's the same thing with the Iceman design to me, and that I really feel like this takes away more than it adds to the original design, in that it's too cute, it's too simplified. I don't know. I really don't care for this in comparison to the original design. Metal Man. I really like that they made Metal Man a brute. There's something that I really like. I think Metal Man works really well as like a skinny assassin type character, but the way they do it in Battle Network is they make him a brute, and they don't, I like that they don't over-design it. I think that they go just extra enough that it's not distracting like it is with the Elecman design. I think this is a really great design. That being said, I could really go either way with this because, again, I think both aesthetics work in their own respective way. You know what? Yeah, no, I think I'm going to tie it. I think it's a tie. I'd say I could understand anybody preferring either of these designs. Flashman is another one that's just perfect to me. Again, it takes what worked with the original design, and they tweak it enough. They make it more sleek. I like the sharp armbands that he's got. I like... If you cover a character's face and only show the eyes, that to me just makes a design 50 times cooler. That's like my favorite design aesthetic. I really, really like how sleek they made this design. It's a fantastic design. Overall, the Mega Man 2 designs for Battle Network, I think, are mostly all really, really great. And now Mega Man 3, and this is another one where you took a design that's already great and just improved everything about it. I really like it. Looks like a combination of Shadow Man and Strider. Like, Capcom took their two characters and just mixed them into one thing. And it really, really works. Like, it's a fantastic design. Like, absolutely fantastic. And with that, we got, like, Classic and Battle Network are neck and neck right now. Magnet Man. This is another one that's very similar to the Metal Man design, in that I think this is another thing that works really, really well, in that they made him a brute. But again, with how they did the design, I like that it doesn't go too far with it. Because I already like Magnet Man's original design. I like the majority of the classic designs. I think all the original Mega Man designs are fantastic in their own way. This is another one where I really like that, again, they go extra, but they don't go too extra. It's not like a Lek Man. And they change the aesthetic of the character into a way that works really well. Again, like Metal Man, I like the bruiser kind of design they give him. This big guy. I like the giant gauntlets they give him. I really like the torso being a magnet. I think it's a fun design. And I do like how they did his head. Like, I don't know. Again, this is another one where I think I'm going to give it a tie, because I do think both designs work in their own respective way, and I could understand an argument for either one. Snake Man. This is another one, like a Lek Man, where I think it's too extra. Like, I think it's a fun idea. But at the same time, I think there's too much going on with this. Like, I don't know. I feel like if it was just a snake and didn't have, like, the little snake charmer, like, basket that it comes out of, I think I'd prefer it a bit more. I don't know. There's also something about, like, the tentacle arms that I think is just kind of weird. I don't know. The arms coming out of the head, like, it's a creative design, but there's, again, something about it that I think goes too hard to a point that I don't think it really works. That I'm going to give that to Classic, because I think Classic is just, I don't know, I really think Classic is a really sleek design. That's probably one of my favorite of the Classic designs. Sparkman, again, like Metal Man and Magnet Man, this improves upon the original. Like, not that it improves. This is one I think it improves in every single way comparative to Magnet Man and Metal Man. And that I think it's Bruiser, but I like that they don't make him beefy. They don't make him, like, big buff arms, like gauntlets. They just made his plugs, like his plugs, they make them larger. They make them much more like they could be a very genuine threat outside of being a projectile attack. I like that they really build him up. And again, I like that, I don't know, they make him more like a battery. And I think that really, really works with how they're working with this design. Like that, I'm going to give that to Battle Network. Now, Top Man is another one where it's, aesthetic-wise, it's complete opposite from the original design. And I think it's fun. I do really think the old, like, sensei kind of look is a fun design aesthetic for Top Man. But at the same time, I think there's a bit more charm to the original design, and I think it's a little more fun. Even though I do still like the Battle Network design, I do think it's entertaining. But I'm gonna go with Classic on this one. Needleman. This is one I've really gone back and forth on every time I've seen it, because I really don't know what to think of the Battle Network design. I think I don't know. This one's really complicated to me. Like, I don't know. There's something about it that I like, but there's something about it that's off to me at the same time. Like, I don't know. Needleman's never been one of my favorite classic designs. And I feel like I should like the Battle Network design more because it does lean more into the needle and, like, spiky aesthetic. But at this, I don't know. There's just really something about... I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's the arms or the face. I don't know. There's really something about it that's always felt really off. I mean, I really don't know. I think I'm just gonna give it a tie, because Needleman's never been like one of my favorite designs, and I don't think the Battle Network design is bad, but there's just something about it. I don't know. I really don't know. There's something about the Battle Network Needleman that just feels really off to me. Again, I'm gonna give it a tie because I think Needleman's original design isn't amazing, but I think the Battle Network design also just kind of feels off. So yeah, I'm going to give that a tie. Next is Punk. Now, Punk is not in the classic Mega Man 3, but I felt the need to add him because he is in the Game Boy game, and I don't know. I just kind of wanted to talk about this design because I think I really like Punk's design, and I don't think Punk gets talked about enough in comparison to the original Robot Masters. And I love the Battle Network design. Again, it adds so much to the original design. It improves everything to me. I like how sleek it looks. I like how they really redid the mohawk. I like the ball and chain arm that they gave him. There's something about this that feels so much more sleek compared to the original design, even though I love Punk's original design. No, that I'm going hard on Battle Network. That's a fantastic design to me. Now, Pharaoh Man is another one where I do really like the idea behind making him a sarcophagus, but at the same time, I really think the sarcophagus takes away from the design. Because I feel like you really lose some of the more fun aspects of the classic design with the sarcophagus look. Like, I like that he's just a floating sarcophagus. I think that is a fun idea. But again, I really think you lose some of the really fun and honestly really cool design aesthetic that they gave him in the classic version. So I'm going to lean that more into the classic design. Because again, I just feel like this design, I don't know, this design just feels a lot sleeker to me. Now, Skullman, I love everything about this Battle Network design. I learned that apparently there are people that don't really care for the Battle Network design. I love the Battle Network design. And Skullman is contender for my favorite classic design. The Battle Network design, to me, I think takes that design, and I love how stretched and lanky. He looks bony. I like how lanky they make him. I like how unhinged. I like the giant smile. There's just something about it that just feels so much creepier to me comparative to the original design. As much as I adore the original Skullman design, I have to give this to Battle Network. It's just a fantastic design. Now, Toadman is something very similar to Iceman, where they took a lot of the charm out of the original design. Now, I think this is a very cute design. I don't think it's a bad design. I don't think Toadman's like, again, I don't think a lot of the Battle Network, I don't think any of the Battle Network designs are bad. Like, I'd say Electman is the closest one so far where I would say it's meh to me. But there's something about Toadman where I really feel like this could be more of a side character in Battle Network as opposed to a NetNavi, especially one based on a character that I think has such a fun and just kooky design as the original Toadman. Like, I don't know. I think this is more cute than I think it works as a redesign of the character. So yeah, no, I'm leaning more into classic on that. Drill Man, again, another one where it goes a little extra, but it doesn't go too hard. I really like this Drill Man. I like they make him a bit more lanky. I like that he can literally turn into a giant drill. That's such a cool idea to me. I like that they make it that the parts of his drill that he turns into are like shoulder pads and battle armor. I like how much they really add to this design. And again, I love the original Drill Man. I think Drill Man is like an improvement on Crash Man's design, basically, from Mega Man 2. It's a great design, but I'm leaning more into the Crash Man design from, or not Crash Man, into the Drill Man design from Battle Network. Dustman, I hate. Like, I know I said I haven't really thought any of the Dustman designs are bad. I do not like the Battle Network Dustman. I don't like the colors they went with. I don't like the face. I don't know. It's too goofy to me. I don't know. There's something about it that just feels too goofy. I really can't. I don't know. I can't take this seriously. It just looks more like a big dumb thug to me. And I don't know. The original Dustman, to me, I just kind of like the way that they did the giant vacuum on his head. I like the weird pipe going between his arms. Like, I don't know. I just felt that the original Dustman had this much more, I don't know. I just felt more unique to me comparative to some of the other classic Robot Master designs. Like, this, I don't know. I don't like Dustman as a bruiser, at least in how they did him in Battle Network. Because, again, I think it just looks too silly. So, like, with that, I'm going to give that to Classic. Dive Man. I love Battle Network Dive Man. I love that. I always thought the original Dive Man was a little basic in terms of design. I like some of the things they were going with, but I think the Battle Network design really added upon a lot of the ideas of the original Dive Man. And I like they made him a submarine. I think the making him a submarine makes the design a lot more fun. I think it's a lot sleeker. I like the pipe. I like how they did the face. I like how it's a bit more simplified. It's almost Transformer-ish with the face. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a much more fun and cool design aesthetic that they went with in adding on to him and just making him a full-on submarine. So I'm going to give that to Battle Network. Brightman. Now, I couldn't find a good picture of Brightman from the game, and I couldn't really find any great concept art of him either, so I had to use a bit from the Battle Network anime, which it's the exact same design anyway, so Brightman is probably one of the classic designs I like the least. I don't know, I think it's a little too goofy to me. At the same time, the Battle Network design is so different. Like, it's so different. It is so wildly unique compared to the original design. I like that he has, like, these power cord tentacles growing out of his head. I like the neon lights. Again, it's so wildly different. It's so wildly different compared to the original design. But I think that makes it, I guess, it makes it much more unique. And honestly, I just think it's more fun. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Battle Network. And Classic and Battle Network are now neck and neck. They are tied. So I think it was Stone Man. Yeah, it was Stone Man. That's the end of it. So yeah, we're on to Mega Man 5. So we're a little over halfway now. And with Stone Man, I like the old one. I get the idea. I get the idea of the Battle Network design. And the idea of making it a golem, like this giant behemoth rock being. But I don't know. I think it looks too... I know it didn't exist back then, but it looks too Minecrafty to me. I don't know. It looks too silly now. And again, I feel like this comes off much more like just a robot drone than it comes off like a character to me. Like, I don't know. This doesn't... The Battle Network Stone Man doesn't really come off like a character to me when I look at the design. It looks more like a mini-boss kind of thing. Like something that wouldn't really have character. Kind of reminds me of... I forget if it's X4 or X5, but there's like this big robot that you fight. Or no. It's the beginning of Mega Man Zero. There's this big robot you fight at the beginning of Mega Man Zero that's like the introduction mini-boss. I don't know, it reminds me more of that thing than it reminds me of Stone Man. So I'm going to give that to Classic, just because I think the Classic design's much cooler. Napalm Man. Now, this is complicated to me, because Classic Napalm Man is fantastic. I love this design. I love the tank tread feet. I love the cannon arms. I love all the extra weaponry going on. I really, really like the face. And I don't dislike the Battle Network design. I think it's very sleek, but I think they took a little too much away from the design, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like I would have liked if he still had the tread feet, or at least if he had something akin to it. And I do like the big cannon arms. I think it's really fun, but I don't know. I think this is something where Napalm Man could have really worked with a brute build, like a much bigger character, especially given how he's designed in the original game. I think the original Napalm Man would have lended itself much better to a more brutish, big guy design. So I'm going to give that to Classic, as much as I do like this design. Gyro Man, that is a transformer. Every time I've ever looked at that design, that is a transformer. And I really like that. I really like how they do that. I think the helicopter, like, back propeller feet are kind of weird, like the legs. But I think this aesthetic is a lot of fun. And I love the original Gyro Man. I love the mouth covering. I love the way they did the feet. Like, I think it's a really cool design. I think both are fantastic designs. But, like, goddamn, the Battle Network design is so sleek. That is a great, great design. Charge Man. This is one where I think it really depends on your preference. Do you want him to go full-on train, or do you more like him as a train robot? Like, do you want him more as, like, a humanoid-ish train? And I don't 100% know what I prefer, because I do like the original Charge Man, and I do like the Battle Network Charge Man. And again, it really depends on what your preference is with the two designs. With that being said, I think I'm going to give that a tie. Because I think, again, I could go either way with these. Gravity Man, it had... Battle Network is too much. This is just way too much to me. Like, I don't know. It's too... I don't like the round. I think it's too silly. Like, I don't know. I think the Classic design is just sleek. I love the really sharp pointed body shape. I really like the colors on him. I don't know. I think the Classic design is much cooler to me. I think the Battle Network design is too silly. Starman. I've really tried to pinpoint what that Battle Network design reminds me of. I almost want to say it reminds me of Klonoa a little bit. Like Klonoa, if Klonoa and Rystar were like fused into one being. Which I think it's very fun. I kind of like that they gave him like a gray alien face. Like, which, again, fits into the star space aesthetic of the character. Like, I think it's fun. I think it's very, very fun. And I think the original design's fun, too. But I'd say I think the Battle Network design is a little more fun. I don't know. I think there's a bit more appeal to Battle Network's design, in my opinion. Now, this is not a Robot Master, but I felt I needed to include it. This is Dark Man, which was a few bosses that appeared in Mega Man 5. I think there were 4 of them, and they all had different designs. That being said, this is the final Darkman, and this is Darkman from Battle Network. I love how they did Darkman in Battle Network. It's a fantastic design. I love the cape. I love the way that they did the head. It reminds me of Mysterio a little bit. I really like the colors that they did for him. It's just a very, very sleek design. It's really good. I'm going to give that to Battle Network. Like, it's just such a sleek design. Now we're on to Mega Man 6. And now we have Nightman, which... Nightman is one of my absolute favorite Robot Master designs. I think it's one of the coolest designs they've ever created for a Mega Man character. And I think Battle Network's really disappointing because, I don't know, I get the idea of making him a bigger guy, but there's really... I don't know. I think it's too much. I think the way that they did the face and how they built his body and how much larger he is, I think it takes away a lot from the design of the original Nightman, so I'm going to give it to Classic. We have Plant Man. Plant Man in Battle Network, to me, is another, like, perfect design. I think they took everything about the original Plant Man and just fixed everything. I like that it's almost a Mega Man X-ish design to me. It reminds me of, I forgot his name. Axel. I forget his name is Axel Rose Red, I think is his name. Axel Red Rose. I forget what they named him. I want to say it's like Axel Rose something. Because I know it's a Guns N' Roses thing. But yeah, no, I'd say I'm definitely leaning towards the Battle Network design because I love how much more they went with the colors on this design. I love how much more sleek it is. I like the kind of bulbs they gave the arms. I think the way that they did the flower is much more creative. Flame Man. Now, Flame Man in Battle Network to me is a very, very odd choice because Flame Man to me, I'd say much like Stone Man, comes off more like a monster boss than it comes off like a character boss. Like, I don't know, Flame Man's original design is questionable, but I don't know. I think the Flame Man design in Battle Network is another thing where I think it's too much. It's not bad. I don't think it's a bad design. I think it's a very cool design. I just think for a redesign of Flame Man, I think it goes so different to the point that I don't think it really works. So I'm gonna lean more towards Classic on that. Tomahawk Man. Again, like Flame Man, if it's considered offensive or not, I think in terms of ones I get much more character out of, I get much more character out of the Classic design than I do the Battle Network design. Like, I think the colors on Tomahawk Man and Classic are stick out much more. They're a lot more vibrant. I think the design is a lot more fun. I don't think the Tomahawk Man in Battle Network is bad, but I don't like that they toned down the colors. And it's just Mega Man's face. I really think if the face was different, I'd like the design a little more. It looks too much like Mega Man. Like, it looks way too much just like Mega Man. And I even had to check to see, like, is this just, like, the Mega Man costume? And I'm like, no, this is actually how Tomahawk Man looks. And I don't know. I'd say the Classic design has a lot more character, and I think the colors really stand out a lot more in comparison. Blizzard Man. I could go either way with these. I could see this being a tie. I think I'm going to make this a tie. I could really see this going either way. I think they're both fun. I think the Battle Network design is much cuter, but I think it's cuter in a way that still feels like Blizzard Man. Oh, I think they're both very fun designs in their own way. Yamato Man, or if you're playing Battle Network, Japan Man. Yamato Man is another one where it's probably one of my favorite designs from Mega Man. And it's... I really, really like both. I like both for different reasons. I like how much more sleek the Battle Network design is, but I really like the colors more in the classic. I think I like the colors a lot more in the classic design. I feel like if the Battle Network design had more purplish colors in it, I'd probably say I prefer it. But I'd really say flip-flopping between these two. I'd say it's a tie. I'd say it's barely a tie, because I almost want to say I prefer the classic, but I'd say I like them both enough for different reasons to say it's a tie. And Windman. I have to give it to Battle Network. That is sleek as fuck. Like, that is a fantastic redesign. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the original design is it's cute. I think it's fun. But there's so much more to the Battle Network design that it's so sleek. It's so sleek. I love the colors. I like how they slimmed it down. I like the face. The face is so much cooler to me. It's just, oh my god, that's probably one of my favorite redesigns of a character. It's so good to me. And with that, we're on to Mega Man 7. Now, Freeze Man is one of my favorite designs in that game, and I know that Battle Network's Freeze Man design is considered somewhat controversial to some Mega Man players, but I don't know. There's something about it that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Also, hi, Bertha. I just saw you were here.
Sorry to interrupt. Hello.
I don't actually know. I need to check if they can hear you. Say something real quick.
I say something?
Okay, they can hear you. I was messing with OBS earlier, so I don't know. I didn't know if Discord got dropped or not when I was messing with it.
Okay.
Yeah, no. How long have I been going? About 50 minutes. Yeah, no. Do you need the link, or do you have it?
Yes, please.
Oh wait, did I put it in the Discord?
You didn't, sadly.
Oh, I thought I did. I gotta put this stream on pause real quick for the one person that's watching. Where is it? I gotta find the link. Oh, it's like the first thing on my fucking YouTube. There we go.
I came home and I was like, oh, gotta run. I don't want to leave you alone.
Oh, damn it. Where's the link? There it is.
You did me a sweet favor yesterday, so I should be there for you, like you're there for me.
There you go, Berth.
Mm.
Ugh. I thought I heard something for a second. I'm like, did somebody come in here? I have OBS on, so it mutes, like, the Discord sound.
Oh, see. Let me see, which character are you?
I'm on Freeze Man. So I'm on Mega Man 7 right now. I just got to Mega Man 7.
Okay. Good. Oh, there's a cat!
That's not a cat.
No, sorry. There's a cat in my house that always visits me. That's why. If you hear a cat, that's the reason.
I'd really say between the two, I was saying before Bertha came in, I prefer the original design. I don't know. I think there's a lot more fun to the design aesthetic of the 7th game.
It's the face. It's not very Mega Man-y.
I was saying earlier before you came in that the Battle Network design I know is considered one of the more controversial changes to a Robot Master design. And I would say it's not bad, but I think it's just, I don't know, it's too simple, I think, in comparison. So, and also Freeze Man's like my favorite design from that game, so I'm gonna give it to Freeze Man.
Gotcha.
Next is I just realized I could just share screen.
Oh, yay! Yummy.
Yeah, you could just you can just share screen so you don't have to wait for the thing to load.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so next is Junkman.
Oh.
This is something that is very similar to Stone Man, where I think they made it feel more like a monster than they made it feel like I don't know, they made it more like a monster than they made it like an actual character to me.
Not a big fan of the old one. I prefer the other one.
I'd say the old one has more character to it. Again, like the Freeze Man design, I think the old one has a lot more character to it. And again, I don't think the Battle Network design is bad, but I just think the monster look just takes me out of it more than anything. So I'm gonna give that to Classic.
Because I love the color palette in the new one, so.
Uh,
European.
what's the next one? What's the next one? Oh, Cloud Man.
Hello.
This is, I'd say I could go either way with these. I don't know. I could go either way with either of these designs. Yeah, no. I'd say I like the colors more on the classic one. But
the other side.
I think the Battle Network design, I think the Battle Network design did a good job at making the design look cooler, but I like the colors more in the old ones, so I'd say I'm going to lean that more towards a tie.
Not a big fan of the green in the old one. But yeah.
Shade Man. Bertha, Jesus. This is what, again, I could go either way with this.
Both are amazing.
Yeah, no. I could really go either way with these. Because I think the Battle Network one is simpler, but I still think it really works. I think the design aesthetic still really, really works. So, I don't know. Because I really like the old Shade Man too. I think I'm gonna lean towards Battle Network. Actually, I like the simpler vampire look more.
The torso is simplified, and the palette in the skin is really good.
I think the only thing I find weird is the nipple holes. It's like the one thing I find weird about that Shade Man design. Slash Man. The old one. I think the Battle Network design takes away too much, to the point that it might as well be a different character to me.
Looks like the weird lion in the first one.
Yeah, no, but again, like I said with Junkman, I think it adds a lot more character to that design in comparison. Like again, I don't know. I think the Battle Network is just
detail.
I think Battle Network is just too different. I don't know. It's different to a point that it might as well be a different character to me. So I'm gonna lean towards the old one. Turbo Man. Ooh. Oh. I really don't know with this one.
There's this thing of, because I'm obsessed with color palettes. When I feel like there's too much colors that are not necessary, it's like, oh, I'm not a big fan. But I like the design, but the palette, I'm not really into it. I like the red one.
I like how sleek the red one is, but I like there's a lot of design aesthetic to the old one that I think has a lot of charm to it, especially the head. I don't know. I prefer the head on the old one.
Yeah, the spiky, like, little ears like that, like fun.
The checkerboard, I don't know. I like the racing stripe head on the old one. I don't know. I'd say I'll pick Battle Network because I just like it a little more because I think it's a little sleeker in comparison.
Yeah.
I think we're past Mega Man 7 now. Okay, yeah, we're on to Mega Man 8.
Oh.
Searchman.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I like the classic one more.
Yeah, I don't like the hair.
I don't like the hair. I think the Searchman in Battle Network is, again, too overly simplified. And again, I don't like that they took away, like, the most distinct aspect of the original design.
Where's the other head?
Where's the other head? I don't. That's like the thing I hate the most about the Battle Network design is I don't like that they didn't keep the two head thing.
Ooh.
The classic and Battle Network. I think we're nearing the end. I think there's maybe like 6 left. So Battle Network's got to pick up if it's gonna win. It's like 3 behind. Swordman. That's too much. That's too much. The one on the right, that's too much. It looks silly. I don't know. I think the Battle Network design just looks silly to me. It's way too much to me.
I like both, but I see why it's too much for you.
I don't know. It looks. I don't like the tiny body. I don't like the abundance of swords, and I think the idea of his body being a sword is a cool idea, but again, I think there's just too much going on with that design in comparison. I'm gonna give that to classic. Tengu Man.
I don't know.
Again, Tengu Man is one of my favorite classic Robot Master designs. But I really like that they went a lot harder on the traditional Japanese aesthetic of Tengu Man in Battle Network.
Yay. I like both. Maybe it's die.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a tie.
Yeah.
I'd say that I could see reasons for both being picked if you picked one. Oh yeah, there's like 3 left. We got Burner Man.
Ooh, I like the old one.
The weird thing is that I really like both, and that the old one goes very, very hard into the fire aesthetic, and I really like how the Battle Network design kind of simplifies it down a little bit while still working as a redesign. But I think the Battle Network design loses points in just having cannon hands.
Yeah.
I think the cannon arms take away from the design.
Just the thing in the neck is throwing me off.
Like, I'd say if the Battle Network Burner Man had, like, the fire hands, I think I would like the design more. But the fact that it doesn't, I think, kind of takes away from the design. Cold Man.
Ooh.
This is one where I think making the design cuter, I think, makes it have more character, honestly.
I like the other legs, because they took them away, the legs. Nah.
I don't know. I honestly think making him cuter makes the design more fun. And I kind of prefer the Battle Network design.
I like the other one.
And oh yeah, now we're down to the last 2. So these are like the two Mega Man X characters that they did. And this is Colonel, which I could go either way with this one. I
like both. They're so good.
This is I like, I don't know. There's something in me that wants the classic one because they lean a lot more into the robot aesthetic with the classic design. But I kind of like the almost Star Wars-y-ish kind of look that the Battle Network design has.
Yeah.
I'll make that a tie.
Yay!
And I think this is the last one. 0.
Oh. Oh, my brain.
This is hard. Here's the thing. Classic Zero to me is one of the best designs ever created in Mega Man, period.
I agree with you.
But I really like how they did Zero in Battle Network.
Looks spooky, intimidating, and all.
Well, because Zero, if I recall correctly, Zero in Battle Network is basically what Zero was supposed to be in the classic series. Because he was built to be, like, the ultimate weapon of Dr. Wily, and I think in Battle Network that is what he is. Except for it's like Zero fully realized as a villain. So it's basically two very, very different versions of Zero. Like, that's the other thing. So it's really a point of what do you prefer? Do you prefer the evil Zero, or do you prefer the old, like, the good Zero?
My brain exploded without question.
That's the thing. Do you prefer the evil one, or do you prefer the good one?
I'm like, damn it.
This is... I really like what they're going for here. That's the thing that frustrates me more, is I really, really like what they're going for with the idea of an evil Zero. But at the same time, there's one thing that kind of takes away from it for me, and is that the face has no character. I think it's very, very cool, but there's no real character or personality with the face. It's just evil robot. And I'm gonna say for that, no, I'm giving that to the original.
Alright.
So I think that's the last one. Is that the end of my PowerPoint?
Wow.
Yes, it is. That's the end of my PowerPoint. Shit, no. Let's look at the rankings here. I got to maximize that window a little bit. Let's look. Oh, did not mean to move that. There we go. Zoom this in. And with that, the Classic Series wins with 27 points, Battle Network with 22, and 11 ties. Shit, Mega Man is something to me where it's probably one of my favorite series when it comes to designs, character designs, and enemies and things like that. So this is kind of something more to me where I mean, I literally own every Mega Man art book. I love everything about the Mega Man franchise when it comes to designs and things like that. So with this determination, I just really wanted to see what I preferred of the two. I don't know if I'm going to do another one of these in the future, because I've thought about doing this with another series. I don't know what it would be, but I thought Mega Man would be a good starting point if I was going to do more of these. So, I don't know. I'm trying to even think what else I could do, like TV, movie, game-wise. I'm really trying to think.
A good result. It means that you like classic, but you are open for new stuff. Not like other fans.
Oh, no. Mega Man, again, I'm open to anything Mega Man.
Very good.
I've thought of maybe like a Sonic thing or like Mario, but I feel Mega Man is kind of one of those things where I feel like it's one of the best ones to use for a redesign comparison, because the designs in Mega Man have all changed a lot depending on what you look at. So maybe Ninja Turtles. I feel like Ninja Turtles. I'd say Ninja Turtles would probably be fun with this.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So,
I like the idea.
Say thank you for those that showed up, and I don't know when I'm going to do another one of these. Again, given what I said, I might do a Ninja Turtles one next. But, thank you for showing up, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And